Hello everyone and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. My name is Leonora and as you may know, I was competing at the 74th Miss Universe competition as Miss Norway a few months ago. And I wanted to make this little YouTube series because I want to share my experience, I want to share my journey from becoming Miss Norway to competing at Miss Universe and what's about to happen next, because I do want to compete in other pageants and I need your help to figure out which pageant suits for me and also to get Norway's voice up in the pageant industry, because Norway has always been a very underdog. Our last victory in Miss Universe was in 1990. So it's really time for Norway to step back up and to become a leader in the pageant industry, I believe, because Norwegian women are beautiful, intelligent, and they need their voices to be heard. So welcome to my little series. I'm going to take you guys through my journey from becoming Miss Norway to competing at Miss Universe, being the salmon at Miss Universe, and how my life is right now. So stick along and I hope you like the video. So when I was 15 years old, I first discovered pageantry and I was really intrigued. I was so fascinated by pageantry that I really wanted to compete myself, but I was too self-conscious, I was too scared, and the age limit for competing in a pageantry in Norway was 18. So I was like, you know what, I'll just figure out my life at this point, and when I become 18, I'll see what I'll do. So when I was 17, I discovered the pageant again, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm 18 in a few months, I'm going to participate now, like, I want to try this out. So when I was 18, the first thing I did was apply for Miss Norway. I had no experience in pageantry whatsoever. I was scared, I was nervous, and then all of a sudden I got the message, welcome to Miss Norway, you're now a delegate at Miss Norway. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, what have I done? Because I'd never competed in any pageants, and pageantry in Norway is not very common. Not many people does pageantry. So I didn't really know what to look at for reference. The only thing I was searching up on YouTube and on TikTok was Miss Universe. How to walk, how to speak, how to dress. I didn't know anything. So when you're competing in Miss Norway, you have this blog site. So at the Miss Norway official website, you can post your own blog. So the delegates are posting blogs about their day lives, their activities they're doing, their volunteerly projects, their sponsors. So I was starting off with the blog and I thought, you know what, I'm going to be persistent with this blog. I want to win Miss Norway. So I'm going to do a lot of volunteerly projects. I'm going to get my name out there so I'll hopefully become Miss Norway. So what I did is that I joined a lot of volunteerly projects in Norway. I think I joined in total 10 or 11. I helped with building kindergartens in South Africa. I helped with getting children in Ukraine computers for their school. I helped my advocacy Ulcer's disease with spreading awareness. I did a lot of different things, and all of those things, I'm so happy that I did them because I gained a lot of experience, and I also gained a lot of history that I can speak to others about. So I have a lot of experience, I got more recognition, and I got a lot more stories to tell people and experience that I can put on my job applications. But the scariest thing about joining Miss Norway was to really announce my participation to my friends, my family, and my social media. On my social media, I only had like 800 followers, and it was only friends and family from school. And, you know, I was 18. I was still going my last year of high school. I was scared to announce that I was going to participate in this competition because what are people supposed to say? Maybe people are going to say, well, you're not pretty enough, or you're not confident enough. I mean, there are a lot of things people can say that'll make you worried as a pageant girl. And, you know, when you're 18, you just want to fit in. You don't want to be an outcast. You just want to fit in. And being an outcast, I was an outcast a lot of time in my childhood years. So becoming that in high school was a fear of mine. So I was very hesitant when I was supposed to announce my Miss Norway participation, but when I eventually did, I got a lot of positive feedback from my friends and family, and that just motivated me more to just post about everything that I did and to even get more recognition from the world. Because if you were to become Miss Norway and to go to Miss Universe, you have to have a fan base. So I was really rooting for getting a fan base for both my Miss Norway journey and possibly for my Miss Universe journey. So it was scary, but it was well worth it in the end. So we have come to the last week before the Miss Norway finals. So I've been delegate in Miss Norway for about 9 months. It was a long journey. I had been a participant for 9 months. I've been posting blog posts almost every single day. I've been working my ass off when it came to getting sponsors, to getting news media coverage, to doing voluntarily work. So I was very scared that maybe I'd done all this work for not winning the crown. But I had this mindset of, okay, if I don't win the crown, then it's not my call. And I would have either way gained so much experience in both marketing and in both work experience that I'll be pleased either way. But when it came to the final night and I was standing there with the other girl and they said, and Miss Norway is Leonora, and I was like, is this a dream? Because I've been thinking about the moment if I were to win a lot, and I've been thinking of exactly that moment, and that it almost felt like I was just laying in my bed, closing my eyes and just thinking of the dream moment. So I feel like when I'm watching my reaction of winning Miss Norway, I feel like I'm kind of like lost. I'm like, wait, really? Me? But I was so happy, and I got to celebrate with all of the girls, and it was truly, truly one of my happiest days. I don't know if you can see it, but my sash is hanging right over there. So it's a sash where it says Miss Norway 2025. So I'm still a reigning queen in Miss Norway. So it's one of my best accomplishments ever. So over to the fun part. I got told that, okay, now that you won Miss Norway, are you ready for Miss Universe in 2 months? And I was like, oh yeah, that's true. I'm going to go to Miss Universe. That's crazy. So, of course, when going to Miss Universe, you have to prepare a lot. You have to prepare your catwalk, you have to prepare your speech, you have to prepare your wardrobe. That was something I was not ready to do, because my wardrobe has always been very basic. It's been like browns, blacks, whites, not very much color. And, as a 19-year-old girl, you don't have a huge budget to spend on clothing, to spend on makeup, to spend on shoes, to spend on hair. So I was kind of lost. I was like, what am I supposed to do? So my normal reaction was, okay, I'm going to go to my local thrift shop and I'm going to search every single day and I'm going to purchase whatever color, whatever pageantry things I can find. So this one is from the thrift shop. Some of my dresses that I wore at Miss Universe is from the thrift shop. So when I first thought of, a wardrobe, I had to think of colors. Did I have a specific color that I wanted to wear? I really like blue, so I wanted to go with some blues. So it was very hard to find a wardrobe, let me tell you. Luckily, I got to work with an amazing designer, Mayet. She is a Filipino designer based here in Norway, and I don't know how many times I visited her during winning Miss Norway to going to Miss Universe. It was a lot of times, but she helped me with a lot of outfits. She had made a lot of outfits for me. She had already pre-made outfits. She also wanted to make my gowns for the finals and the prelims and my national costume. So it was a lot of work behind the scenes, to figure out what we're going to wear, what colors will match me. And it was a very fun experience because I had never worked with designers before. So to be able to work with a designer and call a designer mine, sort of, was very cool. So in my Miss Norway preparations, I actually traveled to New York to get a prize at the International Film Festival in Manhattan. I achieved the Youth Achievement Award at the International Film Festival in Manhattan because my advocacy was youth empowerment. Because, you know, at 19 years old, going to Miss Universe where you're competing against women of all ages, it's scary because you feel like you have very little experience. You feel like you haven't lived enough years to have dresses just sitting in your wardrobe ready for a Miss Universe stage. So my advocacy was really youth empowerment because youth and young people deserve to have their voices heard. And that was what I felt like going to Miss Universe. Like, I want my voice to be heard. I don't want to be looked at as this child who's competing. I want to be looked at as a woman with a voice, and she's strong and she's passionate. So youth empowerment was really my advocacy. So getting awarded this award in New York before going to Miss Universe was truly a dream. So now comes the fun part, traveling to Thailand. I traveled alone. I had never traveled outside Europe alone. Or I mean, I traveled to New York alone, but I stayed at some family's house. So I felt like I wasn't all alone there, but going to Thailand, I was completely alone for the first week. I came a week before the pageant started. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in a whole new world. I mean, I'm in Asia. I've always wanted to go to Asia. So I went to all of the 7-Elevens near my hotel. I went to all of the supermarkets near my hotel. I tasted all the food I could. Thailand, I really miss Thailand. It was such an amazing experience, and I'm really looking forward to going back. So, the pageant begins. I remember I sat in the taxi on my way to the first hotel which the pageant Miss Universe was going to start. And I was so nervous. I felt like I hadn't been very nervous the first, months of preparations for Miss Universe. It was the moment where I sat in that taxi and I was like, wait, this is actually happening, I am on my way to Miss Universe. I'm going to meet all the girls that I've seen on TikTok, seen on social media. I'm going to meet all of them. And I was really thinking to myself, like, what have I done? So the first day was fitting and registration. So we did all of the photos, we did fittings of the costumes for the opening show. We did shoots with the bikinis, with the sponsors. It was so fun, and I got to know many of the girls, and they were so wonderful. I really felt like when I came there, I was scared that the girls were going to be, high up in themselves, but they were so down to earth, all of them, and they were so nice. So I really, really missed them. The most exciting part was to get to know my roommates. So at Miss Universe, you get selected one roommate that you're going to share a room with the entire month of the competition. And I had been waiting for who's going to go in that door. And I waited for 24 hours in my room before my wonderful roommate came in, Miss Universe Haiti, Melissa Queenie Sapini. She was the most wonderful queen in the entire world. I mean, we became best friends. She and I, we talked about everything and nothing. She became like a best friend, and it was the best roommate that I could have wished for. So the Miss Universe competition was a very fun competition. We traveled almost all over Thailand. We were in Pattaya, we were in Phuket, we were in Bangkok. I mean, I got to see and I got to experience and I got to taste so many different things. And it was truly just an amazing experience. I remember when we were going to Phuket, we were all selected different flight groups. And when my flight group arrived in Phuket, we were like, oh my gosh, we are in islands in Thailand, experiencing amazing nature, amazing food, amazing people, amazing weather. It was truly a dream come true. So we also had different ceremonies, and the welcome ceremony which were held in the MGI Hall. I can put up a photo here. This dress right here, fun fact, it was bought on the thrift shop near my house. I think it was around $20. It was so cheap. And when we were assigned this welcome festival, or like this welcome ceremony, I didn't really know that it was going to be this like big of a thing. So I was like, oh, I'll just put on this dress, it's okay. No, it was not okay. It was a big thing. And I mean, it looks wonderful, I love it, but I really wished I had better dresses in my suitcase so that I could have worn. But you know what, it was a nice dress, it was cheap, and it's still in my closet, so it's win-win. So during Miss Universe, you have a lot of practice for the big finale. So we were going to dance next to Jeff Satur on the opening show on the finals. And I had been like wishing that I was going to be one of the first girls standing like right next to Jeff Satur, dancing in front of the people. So when we were assigned that, okay, you're going to have like a little competition, and the winner of the dance that we have taught you guys will stand, like, we'll have special placements. So I was like, okay, I'm going to work. I am going to practice this dance every single day. I think Melissa, my roommate, got sick and tired of me just doing a lot of dances all the time. But it worked out in my favor because I got to stand next to Jeff Satur on the tip of the stage. It was such an amazing feeling, you know, walking out. All of the people are screaming because all of the girls are here, and just being at the edge of the scene and dancing and seeing Jeff Satur, like, oh my gosh, is this real? Like, it was like a fairy tale, really. So let's get to national costume, because this is where my pageant life really changed. I was assigned by my Filipino designer that we were going to have something salmon inspired. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I mean, I love salmon, and Norway is so known for salmon. I mean, our biggest or second biggest export in the world is salmon, and especially to Asia. So I was like, this is going to be very cool. I'm excited for this salmon. And the package with my salmon costume arrived the day before prelims. It was so scary. I had to call a lot of DHL people and be like, hello, where's my package? It was so scary, but my package arrived. I opened it up and I was like, oh wow, I'm going to be a literal salmon. So I tried it on an hour before we're going on prelims. And standing backstage with all the girls wearing like goddesses outfits, they were wearing big dresses, and I was standing there in my full-on salmon with the hat. And I was like, am I really going on stage as a real-life salmon? I was scared, let me tell you. I was so scared. But I thought, you know what? Forget everything. It's going to be fine. People are going to forget you, Leonora. It's fine. There are dresses here that are 20 meters long. Like, people will forget the salmon. It's okay. So, you know, I went out on the stage wearing my salmon. It was quiet. Let me tell you, people were quiet when I opened up the costumes. I was like, it's fine. Maybe this is a good reaction. Maybe this is like a reaction of people like forgetting. But then people started cheering and I was like, oh, okay, maybe it is kind of cool. So I was, you know, walking, doing my thing. And then I was done. I took it off. I put it back in the box and I was like, okay, done. Now I'm going to focus on the next. Now it's done. It's behind. But then all the girls came up to me and was like, have you checked social media? You're going viral. And I was like, oh no. So I checked and there were so many videos and I was like, no. I can't be known as the salmon girl. Like that doesn't work. So, but I was like, okay, I have to forget this. I have still bikini round and evening gown walk. I have to mentally prepare. So it was not until I came home to the hotel room that I actually sat down and checked like the comments and everything. And people were actually cheering for my costume. They were like, you know what? I think it's kind of cute. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. So, you know, it was a very funny moment, and I really enjoyed my time as a salmon. But I wish I took more photos and videos. I was just so embarrassed of being a salmon at Miss Universe that when I was backstage, I didn't take any photos or any videos besides like this one, where I'm just standing next to Miss Denmark wearing this beautiful swan, and I'm just in a full-on salmon outfit. So I wish I took more photos, but that's note to next time. So then came the final night, and that was a very fun experience. I could dance on the front of the stage with Jeff Sator and Miss Thailand, and it was such an amazing performance and experience, and just afterwards just realizing that I just competed at Miss Universe. It was a crazy experience, and I mean, I remember so well sitting in the room when the competition was over with my roommates, and we were like sit just in silence and was like, we really did this. Like, Miss Universe is over and we really were here. I remember it was such a weird, like, dissociating, I don't know what the word is, but it was such a weird experience, but it was the most euphoric experience as well. So now I'm home. I've been home for I think 3 months, and I really missed Thailand, but I also really missed home. Right now it's snowing a lot, typical Norway, but it's snowing a lot, but I really miss Thailand. It was such a nice experience, and I'm really looking forward to traveling back there someday without plenty of suitcases with dresses. So I'm still reigning Miss Norway, and I have a dream of competing in many other pageants in my lifetime because I really connected with pageantry. I think it's such an amazing platform for women to raise their voices and to be confidently beautiful. I think it's such an amazing platform, and I have lots of different pageants that I have in mind that I do want to compete in, but they're expensive, and I think you require a lot more recognition from people, and Norway is a really small country in the pageantry industry, and I think that's very sad because Norwegian women are so intelligent and they're so beautiful, and I really want to do this for Norwegian women. I really want to step into a competition and be happy with a placement, maybe even a placement would be amazing for Norway's history. So if you have any pageants that you would like to see me in, please comment down below and I will respond, and I will definitely have your pageant in mind. I am so thankful for everyone that has tuned in to my first YouTube video just ranting about my experience in Miss Norway and Miss Universe, which was great overall experiences. I am so thankful for going on these routes in life, and I can't wait for what's next. So thank you so much. Please remember to follow my socials and leave a comment and a like and subscribe. Thank you. Goodbye.